These entitled brides and grooms got publicly humbled. Compilation!
Am I the a-hole for not writing vows for my wedding?
Ooh, sounds like he might be.
Welcome back to another
Am I the devil?
special wedding edition because Mike and I are about to get married. By the time this video goes up, we'll be a couple days out.
Will we?
We will, yeah.
Very exciting. Have you picked your dress yet?
No.
Same.
I, 33 male, just got married last weekend. And what was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives turned into this whole drama fest. And I really don't get why. My wife, Sarah, 30 female, and I have been together for 5 years. And I've always been a straightforward, no-nonsense kind of guy. I show my love through actions, not words. I take care of her, I'm loyal, and I've always been there when she needs me. So when it came to planning the wedding, I didn't think writing vows was a big deal.
I know for you, Miss Words of Affirmation, I would be castrated.
Yes, you would be castrated.
But I have something tricky up my robe, and I made her a song. It was for our first dance.
When you love someone, do you not want to like tell that person, like scream it from the rooftops in front of all your friends and family?
I'm not like a words of affirmation kind of guy. I like to hug you. I like to squeeze you.
But you're so good at words of affirmation.
You're right. You're always right.
We're busy people, and between work, wedding planning, and just life in general, I really didn't have the time or honestly the interest
Oh no.
to sit down and write some long, sappy speech. I mean, she knows I love her, right?
You sure about that?
Sappy speech. You're not saying much that inspires confidence, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, you don't have to write her a poem every day, but the wedding is pretty important. I think that's the day where you kind of have to tell her how much you love her.
And like, it doesn't really matter what you want. You're also declaring your love and getting legally married to someone who it probably does matter to. So what you want is kind of like not really as important as what your wife wants right now.
You should know this.
I figured the wedding itself, the whole event was enough to show my commitment.
Oh boy.
This is so half-assed. Plus, I've never been good with words. I'm more of an action speak louder kind of guy.
Why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
I'm sorry, but if he wanted to, he would. You know what I just saw the other day that is actually quite relevant to this? I saw a video go viral on TikTok where the bride's parents are hard of hearing. So the groom surprised the parents on the day with his certificate.
Oh, in sign language. I saw that.
In sign language. So he had learned how to say his vows in sign language.
Is it ASL? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, ASL. So that his future wife's parents would be able to understand.
It's pretty crazy that both of that person's parents were deaf.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But I feel like that is a very good sign.
I'd marry him faster.
Whatever is above a green flag is that. Like, that is honestly the nicest thing. And if he wanted to, he would. Like, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I think also you saying actions speak louder kind of guy. Like, you're kind of just talking about the bare minimum here. You're like, oh yeah, like I'm going to the wedding, my wedding, so that should be enough.
Bro, it's your wedding. Like,
It's
you
your
gotta say
wedding.
something about your wife.
That
Come
is
on,
literally
dude.
the bare minimum to show up to your own wedding. The night before the wedding, Sarah asked if I had my vows ready, and I just casually told her, no, I didn't write anything down, but I'll say something on the spot. She looked a bit surprised, but I didn't think much of it. I mean, we were about to get married. Why stress over some words when the whole point is that we're making a lifelong commitment? That's part of the commitment.
A wedding is this symbolic expression of love, right?
Yeah.
You're celebrating your love. It's probably the most important time to say some words.
Yeah, I would say you need to get over this whole nonchalant, I don't care kind of attitude and do it, because that's the thing. It's like, if he doesn't want to do it, maybe it's not the right marriage. I'm sorry, but
Maybe.
after the ceremony, she was quiet and I could tell she was upset, but I didn't get why. Later, some of her friends and even a couple of mine came up to me saying I really messed up by not preparing vows, that it looked like I didn't care and that Sarah deserved better. I mean, yeah, if people are coming up to you and telling you that whatever you did half-assed in the moment is bad, believe them. There is something to be said for like speaking from the heart, but if you're not good with words already, you definitely need to have something prepared.
I'm not good with worms.
One of her bridesmaids even had the audacity to say I embarrassed her in front of everyone. And she wouldn't say that lightly, I'm sorry. I was like, seriously, we're married now. That's what counts, not some cheesy speech.
Just a formality.
You're not only embarrassing her, you're also embarrassing yourself. This is in front of your entire group of family and friends, and you half-assed discussed. Arguably the most important part of your wedding.
How old are they?
30 and 33.
You should know better. Come on.
Yeah, you should know better.
Have you not seen any movie? Have you not been to any weddings? It's just a thing that people do.
When I talked to Sarah later, she said she felt hurt I didn't put any effort into the vows and that it made her feel like I didn't care as much as she does. I told her that was ridiculous. I married her, didn't I? Okay, again, that is literally the bare minimum.
I showed up to the wedding.
I'm here. That's the ultimate proof of how much I care. Why should I have to spell it out in front of everyone? Are we forgetting like how to human? I'm sorry. This is super weird.
I don't know how to marry.
You also like discussed writing vows. Like Sarah went and wrote vows. Like it would be one thing if you guys decided that you weren't going to do the big wow thing. The wow vows, okay?
Wow.
It doesn't have to take that much effort. Honestly, my first draft of my vows didn't take that long to write. It's literally like maybe an hour of your time and then, going back and editing it. But you guys discussed it to the point where she wrote her vows and you didn't, and you just decided at the last minute that you weren't going to do it. You kind of blindsided her there and embarrassed her. Honestly, I think everyone's overreacting. The wedding was beautiful, and at the end of the day, we are married. That's what matters. I don't see the point in making a big deal out of a few words when I'm already committed to spending my life with her. But now I'm here because people are acting like I'm the worst husband ever for not writing vows.
You're not the worst husband ever. Like, I'm sure you guys probably have a good relationship, maybe, but read between the lines, man. Of all the times to show up and do something symbolic and beautiful.
You're not apologetic at all. Other people are telling you that this was embarrassing for Sarah.
Did Sarah talk to you about it?
Yeah, he said that he talked to Sarah and she said she felt hurt that I didn't put any effort into my vows and it made her feel like I didn't care as much as she does. Definitely.
Duh.
Yeah, like it's very clear that you do not care as much as she does.
Or
And
you do care, but you have to show it.
You do have to show it. The action of writing vows, even though it's not something that you wanted to do, if you cared, you would have done it because you love her. So am I the a-hole for not writing wedding vows because I didn't see the point when my actions should speak for themselves? What actions? Like literally what actions? You showed up in a tux. That's literally all you did. I'm here, aren't I?
I mean, I paid for the wedding, right? I must care.
Okay, so let's read some of these responses. You're the a-hole. You spent more time writing this post, than you spent preparing this huge moment in your life and your wife's life. Just WTF. Literally, like you sat down and wrote this post trying to get people on your side. You could have avoided this entire situation and just written the fucking vows, buddy.
And yet, since everyone told you were in the wrong, you came to Reddit because you still were so stubborn that you're like, no, I love my wife and I want the internet to me.
I don't see the big deal. You are such an asshole that I don't have human language to describe how much. You were thoughtless and careless. If your wife looks crushed on your wedding day, you should not need Reddit to tell you that you're messed up. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't want anything to do with you, but let's carry on.
Over the next few years, you're going to have to really prove to your wife that, you really do care about her because that's not one thing she's going to forget easily.
Oh, so here is a really important comment. Writing my own vows wasn't for me or my husband either. We used the traditional vows and left it at that. In your case, however, you and your bride agreed to write your own vows. She asked you about it, and it doesn't seem from what you've written that you told her that you had no intention of writing something meaningful. For someone as straightforward and no nonsense as you claim to be, that seems unfair. You should have communicated that you were uncomfortable writing the vows and wanted to use traditional ones. What you said at your wedding must have been pretty lackluster for people to comment on them. I find your claim to not understand why Sarah was hurt disingenuous because you said she looked crushed at the altar. You're the a-hole. So we did get an update.
I like updates. Maybe he's forgiven. Maybe, just maybe, he can come up and hang out with me.
No. Update. We are getting a divorce.
No!
As she cheated on me like she did multiple times when we first got together. Maybe I was subconsciously holding on to resentment. Definitely interesting update. Maybe you were secretly holding on to resentment. And if what you say is true, that she did cheat on you, then maybe you didn't want to declare that. That's why I'm saying if you wanted to, you would.
Let's look at these things sort of out of context, okay? Maybe you're using that as a way to justify yourself, but look at these things as separate incidences. You have to write a vow if you agree upon it and express your love for your wife. If you couldn't find those words in the moment, then you should have known that. You should have maybe confronted those feelings, but you agreed to do vows and to get married, and you did. Her cheating on you, terrible. I'm really sorry that happened. I don't know. Maybe there was something there. Maybe there was some unresolved conflict.
Right, but I mean, if you didn't want to declare your love for this person because of what she did to you, then you shouldn't have gone through with the wedding. So you're not the a-hole for having the feelings you did and not wanting to write vows because you felt resentful of your future wife, now ex-wife, but you are the a-hole for how you went about this whole vow thing. Like, Again, if he wanted to, he would.
Overall, I kind of feel bad for you, having been cheated on before. It's not a good feeling. And I'm sorry you went through that. And I doubt that these two things are related. I'll say that I'm sorry you went through that. But yeah, man, you got to write a vow though, or else you're a stinky butt.
Well, you can have him if you want.
Why don't we let him swim around in purgatory for a little bit?
We could have you swim around in purgatory.
Let's
I mean,
see.
Reddit told you you're the a-hole. I kind of think you're still an a-hole.
I think that the ending changes my opinion, and I think that I want you to go to purgatory and write us both vows, me and Shaitan. That's Charlotte Satan. And if I believe your vow, then you can come up and hang out with me. But if I don't, you're going with her. Okay?
Am I the a-hole for changing the wedding venue my fiance chose to something more flashy as a surprise?
That's grounds for murder.
Yeah, something more flashy.
What does that even mean?
I mean, let's find out. I, 25 male, am marrying 24 female this coming October. We both have very large families, but hers is really poor and kind of traditional. Okay, so he kind of did do that because maybe she doesn't have the money. As a result, my fiance has been taught to always go for the cheapest option throughout her life, whether we are going out to eat or buying clothes or going on holiday. Well, we've been planning the wedding and the choice of venue was typical for her. A small local church where she was christened. Okay, so it's not just the fact that it was not as flashy, it was also meaningful to her to get married there. Right off the bat, the place isn't suitable for the number of guests who will be invited. And I know she only chose that location because of money, which is not an issue.
All right, Mr. Know-It-All.
I spoke to my father and he agreed to fund a wedding abroad in Venice. I'm their only child, so getting married is a big deal, and to arrange transportation for all the guests. He agreed to cover all expenses.
Wow.
So obviously, I changed the venue and sent out invitations.
Without talking to her?
Without telling her.
I mean, like, it comes from a good place, doesn't it?
It might, but it also kind of sounds like he's shitting on her choice of venue as well, like something that was meaningful to her.
I know, but that kind of person, maybe with that kind of money, he sees it more like I'm being generous and I want to surprise everybody and do something really special.
Grand gestures are one thing, but like a choice of wedding venue, that is not something that you need to be surprising your future bride with.
Communicate.
I knew the money spent would make her anxious and she always has dreamed of visiting Venice, so I wanted to wait to tell her until it was organized as a surprise. I feel like you could have also done that for the honeymoon though. Like, I don't know. She didn't take it well and she said I was a massive a-hole and that she had much preferred the church venue. Right, because it was meaningful to her. She said it was too embarrassing to cancel it now and that I've told people, but seems really mad. I'm confused since that venue was never practical and I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole here or if she's overreacting.
Failure to communicate.
Again, if you wanted to do all of this, you should have told her. Not after you booked everything so that she didn't really have a choice. You invited literally everyone except her. Everyone knew except her. I genuinely feel like money doesn't necessarily matter to her and like this was a place where, you know, it had some significance in her life and if you wanted to go all out, you should have talked to her about it first.
Before booking everything, I would have just been like, I want to do this and here's how we're going to make it work and let's do it. Also, like, the romantic in me is kind of like, wouldn't that be so cool? I want to do something really special for someone.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I see, like, it could be misguided generosity, and I'm not condoning the fact that you should ever do that, but, like, there's a romantic in me that's like, oh, that's, like, really sweet. But not telling her until, like, seemingly, what, a week before? Or, like, maybe even a month before? Can you imagine? You got to tell her, man. You got to talk to her. But, yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about, like, what do they always say? It's the bride's wedding, not the groom's. I'm learning that the hard way.
Where you're getting married is super important and like the location is important and this is something that you need to discuss as a couple, not surprise them. I do love surprises. Mike is very good at planning surprises.
I can't get this tune.
But with regards to the wedding, I feel like that's a little bit too big of a decision that needs to be.
No wedding surprises for us.
Okay, good.
Out of my head at night.
You're the a-hole. You gave her no say in any of it. You picked a venue, picked a different country, scheduled for a date, made the guest list, chose the invitations. Maybe she chose the church because of personal meaning. Maybe she chose it because it was cheaper. The wedding should have been planned by both of you, which means if you didn't like the venue, it's fine to say no. Try to find a venue you were both okay with, something bigger, more options, but still relatively local. Did you even confirm that her closest family would be able to make it? Even if your dad pays for all travel expenses, not everyone can afford to take off work or can travel that far. How soon is it? Are you in the EU? Is her family not well off? And you live in the US. A lot of them probably don't even have passports.
There's a lot of factors here. Like,
there's a lot of things to consider. And like, yes, it's a nice thing that you're doing, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes people just can't go all the way there. We've learned that. Sometimes people just can't make it work. And a big factor is like not being able to take time off.
A couple of our really good friends can't come because they can't take the time off work because
Yeah.
they also got married in Italy.
Yeah.
So
Money isn't even really the issue. It's about taking the time off of work.
should I cut that part? Getting married in Italy?
No, everybody knows we're getting married in Italy. By the way, we're getting married in Italy. OP is possibly showing his incompatibility. She values family and tradition, and he values riches and flash. Things might not work out unless he can compromise, unless they both can compromise.
Yeah, I don't agree with that comment.
You don't agree with it?
It's not that they're incompatible. They just come from two very different backgrounds. We don't have enough context to say like he's an asshole for being like this rich guy who wanted to do everything. Like, again, the romantic in me is like, maybe he just thought this would be like a nice special grand gesture. Maybe she always wanted to get married in Venice. Like, we don't know that. And like, that was her dream, but she couldn't afford it. Or maybe they could somehow put money together to afford it, but she just didn't want to put everyone through that. So she picked something local that was meaningful to her.
But those are valid reasons to pick the place that she picked.
What I don't like is that he surprised her and booked it without her giving approval. That is what I don't like. Part of me is telling me that like it comes from a better place than we're giving him credit for.
Okay, so do you want this guy or what?
Let's keep going through comments. Maybe I haven't heard enough yet.
Maybe you haven't heard enough opinions to sway your opinion. You're the a-hole. A marriage is supposed to be a partnership. You operated completely behind her back, then revealed it once it was a failed fait accompli. A thing that's already happened or been decided before those affected
Yeah.
can hear about it.
I think it's Latin.
Leaving them with no option but to accept it. I learned something new today. How can you be confused about her reaction? You think you sent the message, he's willing to get his parents to do extravagant things for us, or if you didn't, tell her it's daddy's money, he's willing to spend so much to give me nice things. The message you actually sent is, he did not give one benighted about my feelings and desires. He's always going to make huge decisions behind my back. You'll be lucky if she doesn't call it off. Reddit kind of decided that he was an a-hole.
I'm always just trying to understand people a little bit more. I think that like he's an a-hole. Right?
Yeah, he was a jerk.
He's an a-hole. You should never do this without the consent of your wife or fiance. Maybe he had his parents in his ears speaking like, we're not going to that church.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's part of it too.
But that's also something he should have discussed with her.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
all of this
no,
could have been
that's
solved
why I'm
with,
saying
just
like
a discussion.
he's not coming up here. He's an a-hole because he
okay.
didn't talk to his wife about it.
Come to mama.
That doesn't mean he's a bad person and that he's trying to like, again, more context, like maybe it was something romantic. Maybe they talked about they always wanted to get married in Venice. So maybe that's a little key part of information. Anyways, I'm done. I'm trying to be holy. I'm trying to be holy, but I keep getting holes poked in my holiness.
Am I the a-hole for confronting people for eating dessert at a wedding? So I recently went to my boyfriend's father's wedding, remarriage. His father was kind enough to take into account my gluten allergy and made sure to have 8 out of 10 dishes gluten-free. He also included a separate gluten-free dessert, which was a little bundt cake. I was so excited to actually eat at the wedding. Most times for a public event, I eat before due to my allergy. After dinner, the cake was being cut and it was announced to come get dessert. I was finishing up a conversation. Took 30 to 45 seconds when my boyfriend's uncle, who's currently the only other gluten-free person, came up to me with a cake and told me that all 10 cakes were gone and he had the last one, offering to share half.
That's nice.
That's nice, but I think that what she's getting at is like nobody left any cake for her.
Okay.
I was upset. I know that only 2 people had an allergy there. I immediately went over to investigate the gluten-free cakes with my boyfriend following. I went over and I spotted a family who I know well and I know are not gluten-free. And I went up to confront them. Sorry.
You gonna go bunt them?
When I got there, I saw them have not 1, not 2, but 3 gluten-free cakes, all of which were eaten except for a tiny sliver of one, and the other that the husband was just finishing off. I politely asked the husband if he was gluten-free, knowing full well he wasn't. He responded, well, yeah, I totally prefer gluten-free. It tastes better, yeah. I looked at him and told him that I have an allergy and I didn't get any. After an awkward moment, the wife finally says, oh, well, here, you can have this if you want. And she reached to give me some mostly eaten cake.
Here, let me just get this for you. Oh, here. Sorry, well, here we go. Like a little baby bird.
I told them, no, it's fine. Just next time, don't eat allergen-friendly food if you don't have an allergy. And walked off to my boyfriend, who was only a few feet away, and told him everything. A little bit later, I was talking to some friends when the wife came up behind me and said, hey, that wasn't very nice what you did back there. You made us feel very uncomfortable, and my husband feels bad and uncomfortable with your actions. It would be nice of you to go apologize to him. I said, sorry? And she just said, go over and apologize. I bit my tongue and went to talk to my boyfriend in private. I told him I was, in fact, not sorry and had no regret for calling them out for eating my allergy-friendly food. I'm just like failing to understand, like, if you had such a bad allergy, then why didn't you just like go and get the cake?
People were taking them, I guess. Maybe people unknowingly took the gluten-free ones.
Yeah, that's possible. But also, I genuinely feel like someone also brought you a piece of cake. Like, how much cake are you eating? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just so confused here.
It's just kind of weird that the wife would just like come back and like apologize. It's funny how people in my real life have trouble apologizing.
He agreed with me and told me not to apologize and ignore the incident, but I can't get this off my mind. So, am I the a-hole? Should I go apologize for making the family feel uncomfortable? My boyfriend told me to edit this to inform that I am autistic. So if I seem dense in the comments, I'm genuinely not understanding and I'm taking it literally. This is not to excuse my actions, only explain my extra questions in the comments. Edit, I realized I left out some pointed info. The family I confronted was in charge of the dessert table, as the caterers were only in charge of dinner. Dessert was set up by the family and was told by the groom to section off and keep the gluten-free cake separate, and were also told who they were for explicitly. Okay, a lot of drama about some cakes, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't even want to touch this.
Yeah, this is intense. I get it. I get that it's really frustrating that like you were excited to eat this cake.
This is like first world problems.
Yeah, this is kind of, I'm sorry. Like, I understand you were excited to eat the cake and like that they made sure that they had a gluten-free friendly option. But at the same time, I think it's not necessarily that serious.
That's it. It's not that deep.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, it just kind of sucks. I think you're asking like, was I weird, or was it weird that I confronted the family about
Yeah,
it?
I mean, maybe they didn't know. Wait, did they know? Or are
They
saying
knew.
that
The father said, I like the taste of it.
the family I
prefer."
confronted was in charge of the dessert table?
What does
Okay.
that mean though?
I very much sympathize with your situation, but as others have said, guests have no way of knowing that the gluten-free sign meant that the only people with a gluten allergy were permitted to eat those cakes. I probably would have thought the sign was there to simply inform people who needed a gluten-free option that they could eat those cakes. Not that no one else could, especially if there were multiple cakes there. I still genuinely feel like this is really not that serious.
No.
Yeah, the guests were not the problem. If anything, the catering service was. If they really only had a few gluten-free options, they should have been made aware of who is gluten-free and ensure the gluten-free person got to the goodies. To be honest, I think you acted rather aggressively. I'm gluten-free. It's just something I deal with. I don't impose my issues on other people. Your disappointment is understandable and I sympathize, but your behavior kind of makes you an a-hole.
You know what? Yeah. Didn't she mention that she has autism?
Yeah. I feel like it wasn't necessary to make them feel like bad about it.
I
you
think
know?
she just like probably said it. I don't know. I don't know how to touch this, to be honest with you. Like I don't know much about autism. Maybe she just felt like she speaks her mind a bit more to these people and she came off as rude to the family.
Well, she said, I told them no, I don't want the cake. It's fine. Just next time, don't eat allergen-friendly food if you don't have an allergy. You're not entitled to that food unless you have like your name on it. You're not entitled to the whole cake. I think that you can still enjoy gluten-free dessert, anything, you know, vegan, vegetarian, whatever. You can still enjoy it, you know? Like I feel like you're kind of like placing this cake as your cake and no one else can touch it, which is kind of silly, honestly.
It is. It's very silly.
I mean, in all fairness, if they took multiple cakes each, it 100% puts the husband and wife in the a-hole territory, not the a-hole. Okay, note it. I think it's important to hear out both sides of the argument.
This is not that serious.
It's not a hill that you need to die on, honestly.
This is not something that I would come on Reddit.
I know. Yeah, same. I don't know if I would really point it out. Like, I might be disappointed in the moment, but like to make people feel bad about eating gluten-free cake is just like kind of silly, quite frankly. But maybe it's important to you, and I understand that you were disappointed.
Maybe it's not about the cake. It's about the, am I wrong to have confronted somebody about it?
Yeah, I mean, the way that she said it was that they're not allowed to eat gluten-free because she has an allergy. Like, you're not allowed to touch anything gluten-free because what about the people that need to eat that? I personally feel like it's not that serious.
I still don't want you.
You don't want her?
No.
Oh, yeah. I'll take you. I feel like it was a little silly. It didn't really need to be confronted about, you know. You could be disappointed. You're valid for being disappointed that you didn't get the cake.
You're going to go down with her where there's no gluten-free
Yeah,
cake.
no, there ain't no gluten-free options here. Just baby's tears. All right, we have one more that's very spicy. I saved one of my favorites for last.
Okay, good. Because that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was stupid, right? Am I the a-hole for retaking bridesmaid photos without one particular bridesmaid?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I, 23 female, got married 2 weeks ago to my 24 male husband, and it was so great. I had 5 bridesmaids plus my maid of honor, but I'll just refer to all of them as bridesmaids. The problem started when it was time to take photos with my bridesmaids. One of my bridesmaids, 23 female, and who I've been friends with since college, is super tall and has a muscular build. I'll call her N. N really stands out next to me and my other bridesmaid.
God. Oh my me.
Oh, you'd hate me. I'm like an ogre over here.
Charlotte's head wouldn't be in the frame.
No, I wouldn't be in that fee-fi faux fum over here.
I smell the blood of a Charlotte's bum.
She was also wearing a pattern dress when I specifically asked all my bridesmaids to wear solid colors. They get to pick their own dresses and just had to match the color I picked ahead of time. So between the dress and her build, Anne really stood out in the photos and was throwing them off. After the first round of pictures, we all gathered around the photographer to see what we had so far, and I swear everyone had the same thought simultaneously. Of course, no one said anything because she's our friend and we wouldn't want to be rude. I would have just sucked it up, but Anne herself turned into me and said, I understand if you want to take some without me. She didn't seem sad or anything, and she was even laughing a little, so I told her I thought it was a good idea, and me and my other bridesmaids retook the photos without her. Fast forward to an hour in the reception. Anne finds me, congratulates me, and says something came up and she needs to leave early. So we say goodbye, and that's it. So now it's been 2 weeks since my wedding, and I haven't heard from Anne at all. But that's not strange since I've hardly heard from anyone since they know I'm on my honeymoon. The photographer sent me the finished photos yesterday, and I posted my favorites on Facebook. I didn't include any with Anne since I was only posting 30 of the absolute best ones.
That's gonna be a yikes for me, dog.
I don't know about that.
That's the asshole meter going off. Pretty quickly after posting them, Anne messaged me to say how hurt she was that I didn't post any with her in them and that I took photos without her in the first place. Yeah, maybe she was telling you to take other photos like as a joke. Listen, she shouldn't have worn a different colored dress, but the way that you're kind of talking about her is like you don't like the way that she looks.
Yeah.
There are ways to solve the height problem. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of pointing out that she's muscular and that she's tall. Like if you wanted to kind of make everybody level, you could like one person could stand, you know, on a lower step and everyone else could stand a little higher to make everything level.
If it was about the dress, then it would have been about the dress. But
Then it would have been about the dress.
About how she's tall.
Yeah, she's tall and like
Ogre-ish.
awkward. She's like an ogre with her big muscles. Like what the, I don't know. It kind of just sounds like you don't like how your friend looks.
And you feel guilty about it, about posting no photos with her, and you want Reddit to tell you that you're not a bad person, but
It's not about posting the best photos. It's about posting the most meaningful ones.
a mix of both.
A mix of both, but I think you deliberately leaving her out because she's not, I don't know, the photos with her sucked or whatever. It would hurt my feelings as well.
Even if she did say it, I don't know.
So I apologized, of course, and I told her I would post the rest of the photos in a few days. I reminded her she was the one who suggested I take some without her. She called me a narcissist and selfish, and now she's not responding to me at all. I am so confused, and she literally told me I could retake them without her. Maybe she was joking. I don't think it's such a crime for me to want my photos to be perfect.
There you go. Narcissist mentality.
That's a little narky of you to say.
Narc.
We do not diagnose anybody. You just have narcissistic tendencies. My husband agrees with me. However, I can tell she's really hurt and she's not the type to be this worked up over nothing. Yeah, you kind of sound like a jerk. I'm not going to lie. Listen, she shouldn't have worn a different dress. And by the way, a different dress can be fixed in Photoshop. Like if someone wears a dress, like let's say someone wears a white dress, you can change that dress to not be white in photos. I genuinely feel like you think your friend is ugly and that's why you didn't want her in the photos.
Why did you ask her to be a bridesmaid? Like, what's the history between you two?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, if you didn't want her there, like then why'd you even ask her, you know? They've known each other since college.
I don't know. It's weird.
Honestly, I don't think that we would be friends because I'm a tall girl. I can't
Yeah.
imagine someone not wanting me in photos next to them because I'm tall though.
Do you find that hot take, people just excuse really bad behavior on their wedding day because they're like, it's
What's
my day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is literally the premise of being a bridezilla.
Just because it's your day doesn't mean you have to be a stinky little bung.
You should apologize to your friend.
It's kind of rude. Think about how you would feel, even if you were 6'4", 220, jacked, swimmer.
So let's read some of the comments. Easiest, you're the a-hole here today. You are a crappy friend. You really told her that her build doesn't match your aesthetic. I hope the pictures and irrelevant likes on social media are worth the friendship you just lost. Good for her for calling you on your shallowness. She's she's definitely better off. No, I agree. You definitely need to apologize because
It's not very nice.
it shows that you care more about the outward perception of what your friend group and your wedding look like than you do about including your friends in your special day.
Like, if your logic is, whatever, it's a few photos, then why would you post your favorites?
Yeah.
Like, she could say back to you, like, who cares if I'm too tall? They're just photos, right?
Totally. You're the a-hole. If I was your friend, I would never speak to you again. Not only did you take pictures without her, you posted pictures without her. Then you proceeded to come onto Reddit and single her out because of her looks. Her height and build is something she has no control over. With friends like you, nobody needs enemies. I just genuinely feel like you wouldn't have pointed out those physical traits about her. Like, the dress is one thing, but you pointing out that she's tall and has like muscles, it looked like off with the photos. It didn't. You're so fully in your own head. Who gives a shit? What are you like not supposed to be friends with tall people now because of how like you'll look in photos next to them? Like, you're not going to be friends with overweight people because of how you look next to them? Like, that's just stupid. What matters most is in here.
Inside.
In here.
Inside your heart.
You're the a-hole. You posted 30 photos and not even one had her in it. Yeah, like you posted a photo of you and your bridesmaids and did not include her. Cray. You're gonna have to come down here with me. I'll give you a right good poking. So I've come across this list that a bride put up on the internet of 37 expectations she has of her bridesmaids. And the list has gone viral, and we're gonna find out why. I've read a lot of posts about issues with bridesmaids. I gave out contracts. It explained all my experiences from the beginning to end. I started with 10 and ended with 6 bridesmaids. I refused to be stressed. Anne and I didn't budge on any of it. Please put your email in the comments if you would like a copy emailed to you to personalize. That is a long list.
Holy God, I'm not reading all that.
All right, so I'm guessing she had 10 bridesmaids and only 6 decided to participate because of this list. Here it is. Number 1, I will not try to convince the bride to change anything in her wedding. Number 2, I will not talk negative about anyone in the wedding. Number 3, I will not gain more than 3 kilograms between now and the wedding. I mean, I can understand needing to fit into a dress, like a dress that the bride has bought for the bridesmaid, but also kind of like life happens, you know? Like life happens. Sometimes we get thrown a curveball and we start eating a little bit more than usual anyway, and we gain a little weight. I can't believe that it's in the contract that they can't gain weight. I wonder how long until the wedding that is. 3 kilograms is a lot to gain in a very short amount of time, but not over a long period of time. Number 4, I will wear only black or dark brown hair on the day of the wedding. Highlights may be accepted with prior approval. Number 5, I cannot wear any lashes the day of the wedding unless professionally installed. What if you're really good at putting lashes on though? What if the professional isn't as good as putting on lashes as you are? Sometimes professionals don't know how to do my makeup. I find myself constantly having to fix professional makeup because it's just not my style, or because I think I want a bit of a bigger wing or something. I brought my eyelashes to set the other day. Your girl filmed a TV show and I brought my eyelashes to set and I put those bad boys on myself. And it looked amazing.
Please clap.
Number 6, I have to attend the bridal shower and bachelorette party, fitting and rehearsals, and wedding. Only time this can be missed is death or jail, pregnancy over 5 months, and some sickness with a recent doctor's note. Death or jail, eh? Death or jail. Your death, like your bridesmaid's death, or like someone else's death? It's just death. Could we get a little more specific on that? Number 8, the brides will choose my makeup artist the day of the wedding. I will agree to wear the dress the bride chooses regardless of my own opinions, style, or color. Like, I feel like all of these things are kind of a bit unspoken. Like, I don't think that you need to make a list or a contract, as it were, to get people to do what you want. It just seems a little bit confrontational. Just a little bit. Right, Chair? What, no, nothing to say? You seem to be talking over me quite a bit. Number 10, I will not wear any extra accessories, items of clothing, or jewelry the day of the wedding except my wedding or engagement ring. I will not unintentionally fall pregnant before the wedding. Oh, Jesus. Pregnancy under 5 months will not be excused from attending wedding events. Excused, eh? Excused? What is this, grade school? I will support the bride in everything she chooses. Again, why do we need a contract? I will not consume more than 7 units of alcohol during any event except the bachelorette party. There will be no limit. Well, that's good. Sounds like we'll need it. I'm not going. I wouldn't go, but sounds like it's needed. I will not bring a date to the wedding or reception without bridal approval. I will not bring any outside people except kids to any meeting. I will not bring my kids to the wedding unless they are part of the wedding party, no exceptions. I will make sure I have an accountable babysitter the day of the events, and I understand that no show for no babysitter will not be an acceptable excuse. So they can't bring the kids. But also, if the babysitter doesn't show up, then they still have to. So what are they going to do with the kids? It's just a what if, right? I will not make any advances toward males in the wedding party. God damn it! That's the only reason why I go! Why not? Why not? What's the problem? Isn't that what weddings are for? Meet eligible bachelors and bachelorettes? I will not date anyone in the wedding party that I wasn't dating before I signed this contract. What the f? I will be happy and positive at all times during the wedding and reception. I mean, you're making it kind of difficult. I will not grow sensitive and angry with the bride because I understand that she has a bossy attitude. No way. No way. Really? You're bossy? No, I had no idea. No idea whatsoever.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I will not attempt to outdo the bride in any way. You must look like, but not like a pile of, you know, you must look like a little turd, not a pile of. Don't go overboard on the. I will wear the hairstyle the bride chooses for the wedding day. I understand that I have to purchase my own dress and shoes and hairstyle for the wedding. Okay, so wait. I thought that you were making that demand because you were paying for the dresses, which would make sense because, you know, you're having something made, but they also have to pay for the dress and the shoes and hairstyle? I understand that the bachelorette party may be a destination getaway. Oh, finally, something positive. I understand I have to purchase a bachelorette party t-shirt and fund my own trip if it is away. I understand that the maid and matron of honor will need help funding some of these events. The wedding and reception are not included. I understand that the bride does not want any suggestion and this agreement is on here twice, 2 different ways because the bride wants it to be clear. It's definitely not in the fine print. Only suggestion allowed is a way to get her exact item at a cheaper price. I will not drop out of the wedding party for any of the reasons listed above. If I do not like anything listed, I will not sign the contract and I will be replaced. It's good that you feel that your bridesmaids are replaceable if they don't agree to your demands. I understand that I do not agree to the above terms and it will not ruin the bride and I's friendship, all right? But if I sign and agree and later want to drop out, it will ruin our friendship. At least she warned you. I understand that no friendship to the bride is bigger than anyone in her wedding party and everyone will be treated equally. I understand that I may have to do physical activity at the reception and this requires practices provided by the bride. No colored contact lenses allowed? Why not? What's the issue? No black drawn on eyebrows or thick drawn on matter of fact revert to black makeup law above. No glossy colored lipstick allowed. Why not? The kind that looks very shiny and bright? Why? I love that. No, I'm gonna show up wearing blue lipstick. That's what's up. No colorful nails the day of the wedding. Only colors allowed are American, French, or nude. Well, I guess I'm out. I will provide the bride with my normal 7-day schedule within 5 days of signing this contract. I will agree to save at least $50 a month for expenses for the next 14 months. This is a lot. So this article says that we all need to be considerate of the fact that planning a wedding is a very stressful event. And that's, I think, why all of these Bridezilla posts seem so outrageous to us. Because it is stressful. It's stressful for everyone involved. It's like a big show, almost. A show of people's love. But it doesn't have to be super stressful, you know? Here were some of the responses. Well, she is right. The wedding party will be treated equally awful. But hey, she did allow exemption in the event of death. What a gal. Thank God. I was planning on dying before your wedding. If this person were my friend, I would seriously have to reconsider my life choices. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that a lot of people dropped out. I feel like that's understandable. I would never sign such a thing. Too funny. I have to pay for things in which I have no choice and must save up $500 for expenses that I cannot choose or control in any way. Not just no, but you need an intervention. No. I'm paying the bills and she's choosing my hair color and style. It's a good point, man. Like, if you're paying for it, I feel like you have the right to make these kinds of demands, but you're not paying for it. Why do people not realize that their wedding is not the center of other people's universe? They'll be the same if they have kids and expect everyone to make the little crotch goblin the center of their world. But I've got a child. But there are babies in the car. You can't park here. The minute I was given these rules, I would have declined, and although the bride says our friendship will be fine, I say goodbye forever. I don't need friends like this one. With friends like these, who needs enemies? That's a little too much friend, you know? A little much. Oh my God, guys, you know what I got? We're gonna unbox. I got a mallet! I actually got it, and it came so quickly too. Order! Order in the court! My microphone doesn't like it though, let's see. Oh. Alright? Softly, Charlotte, softly. I'll clean it later. Bride-to-be gets lit up for worrying dad's wheelchair will ruin her wedding. I think you have bigger things to worry about, sweetheart, but go on. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my dad to walk me down the aisle because he's in a wheelchair? I don't even need to read it to assess, but go on. About 3 years ago, my dad was injured in a really bad hit-and-run car accident. He broke just about every bone in his body and left him paralyzed from the waist down. Our relationship has always been really good, but I hate seeing him in pain and admittedly try to avoid seeing him because it makes me uncomfortable. Imagine how he feels. In November, I'm getting married. I've been with my fiance for 4 years, and he and my dad get along really well. Naturally, the discussion of who was gonna give me away came up in the family group chat, and I kept silent after I realized my dad would be in a wheelchair. We always talked about him giving me away and having a dance at my wedding, and I don't wanna be reminded of what could have been at my wedding. I messaged my mom privately, and I told her I want my uncle to walk me down the aisle as we are incredibly close. She naturally asked why, and I told her that my dad being in a wheelchair would add complications to the wedding. The walkway would have to be widened to accommodate his wheelchair, and he wouldn't be able to hold my arm or give me a proper hug. She was outraged, calling me an ableist piece of shit, and removed me from the group chat. My aunt has since called me, telling me my dad is absolutely devastated. Am I the a-hole?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Update. I appreciate all the people who have messaged me offering support. Your kind words mean a lot to me, whilst rifling through a bunch of messages telling me to do horrible things to myself. Regardless of what you think of me, telling me to do these things isn't okay. I agree with you. It's not okay to do that. I'm going to call my dad tomorrow. Update 2. Can you please stop messaging me such horrendous stuff? Think about what you're saying. You may not agree with me or my life, but you're just as bad as I am if you're gonna go around saying stuff like that to strangers on the internet. Not that I owe it to anyone, but I thought I'd give you all an update. My boyfriend and I have decided to part ways, and I've apologized to my dad.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
As you can probably tell, this person was dubbed the asshole. You're the a-hole and you know it. This is your father. The man went through hell and barely survived, leaving him severely disabled, and all you think is about how it would look, how it won't fit your fairy tale versions of how things would have been, if not for his near-death accident. How about what if he just wasn't there at all, you know? Your priorities are askew, and I'm wondering why your fiance sees fit to marry someone that would likely leave him if he ever, God forbid, meets the same fate. Bridezilla asks for free wedding in return for Instagram exposure, but doesn't even have Instagram. Shut up! All right, this is the last one. It's the last one! Hi y'all, as you know, me and Dave married. Soon I will be Mrs. David Blank. Can you believe it? I can, lol, I deserve it. Oh, I love the sense of self-worth. I love it. I do. We are blessed that Dave's godmother has invited us to have her wedding at her estate in Maine. I'll share some photos later, but it's gorgeous and it's a historical landmark, which means my wedding is going to be historic. Lol. Because we're having an out-of-state wedding, which means we will be traveling and staying in hotels, and also because our honeymoon is in Dubai. 1 month in Dubai. I'm asking for y'all's help with some of the wedding stuff. If anyone has any experience as a professional photographer, not a hobby, but getting paid as a job, please contact me or David. We need you. This could be considered your gift to us. We would need you to pay for travel to Maine and everything, but I think once you saw where the wedding is, you'd be begging us for the opportunity. Don't think so. If anyone knows a good caterer in Maine or willing to travel to Maine who will work for exposure doesn't pay the bills! I'm going to be starting an Instagram soon. So you don't have an Instagram, but you are using exposure as currency. Got it. Any dress designers out there, I want that one-of-a-kind dress. You need to be professional and talented. I want to feel like a princess. I will post your info and all of the pictures here on my Instagram, which doesn't exist yet. We also need all the usual stuff: flower seating, music, orchestra, no DJ. This will be classy. I can already tell you our event will get press because of the historic location. Please send me a message if you can help. See y'all in June. We found a free location. Now who wants to pay for the rest of the wedding? But it's historic. It's historic. You have to be a professional, not just a hobby. She wants every aspect of the entire wedding to be donated, basically. Unreal, her husband is doomed. Unless he is just as much of a jackass as she is. You know, I think that maybe sometimes they deserve each other. You know what I'm saying? Or he's just a pushover. I will be starting an Instagram soon. She has no exposure to give. That's a new one. It is new. I always get surprised. No matter how many of these videos I do, someone always surprises me. Don't forget to hug your dads, you guys. Would I be the a-hole for never speaking to my sister-in-law again after what she did at my daughter's wedding? the court. We shall wait to hear the context before we make a decision. My beautiful daughter got married last weekend, and I could not have been prouder. We unexpectedly lost her dad and my beloved husband over 5 years ago, and always knew that her wedding day was gonna be a tough one. Ooh, that is tough. I'm sorry to hear that. My late husband has a sister who has always struggled to control herself emotionally, and particularly when it involves grief and loss, has been known to cause scenes. Think trying to throw yourself in the hole on top of the coffin type scenes. Did she do that at the funeral? Or just like metaphorically, are we talking about that?
That she did.
In the past 5+ years, I've gone out of my way to support this sister both emotionally and financially, not only because we are close, but because that's what my late husband would have done. For about the last 6 months, I've been in regular contact with her, reiterating that the wedding day is going to be hard enough without her added drama llama emotions. We love a drama llama, but not when it's our drama llama, you know? Other people's drama llama we're okay with, but not when it's galloping through our lives, you know? I make it very clear that the bride had included many personal and thoughtful touches into the day to remember her dad. E.g., she'd asked all her uncles and significant men in her life, including the groom, to wear one of his ties. Oh, that is so thoughtful, bestie. And that we above anyone were well aware of his absence on such a day. I asked sister-in-law to please just be respectful and honor the bride's wishes to not make a scene.
God, I will not be doing that.
The fact that you even have to have that disclaimer, and let me guess, even the disclaimer didn't stop her. Wedding day arrives and it was an emotional day. Honestly, weddings that involve, well, they don't involve a death, but whenever there's like a notable absence because someone who would have been there has passed away, it is just waterworks. Nobody makes a scene, but there do be crying. I went to a wedding once where the bride's brother, had passed away. Obviously no one made a scene, but everybody was crying. Like, it was very, very sad and beautiful at the same time, because they did pay homage to him. I didn't know him personally, and it made me feel closer to the family because they chose to make him such a big part of the day, but it was very sad. My maid of honor surprised my daughter with a small, tasteful medallion with late husband's picture on it, which we tied to her bouquet with many tears. We had lots of talks about how proud he would have been and how much he would have looked forward to seeing his baby grown up and happy, and how he would be with us even if we couldn't see him. Oh God, getting choked up over here. I'm just a little choked up.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
As my baby and I stood at the end of the aisle before I walked her down, she took my hand and said, "We will not cry. Daddy would want us to be happy." And so we began our procession down the aisle toward her beautiful groom. Halfway down the aisle, we were confronted with a roadblock. My sister-in-law had reached out into the aisle holding a large frame photo montage, pictures of my late husband, including his funeral booklet. Oh, why are we doing that? Seems a little unnecessary. It threw us both completely, and I was livid. I mean, very clearly you had plenty of things playing homage to him in the wedding. So she blocked you from walking down with this booklet. Oh, you're happy? Remember this. Oh God, I hate it when people do that. It's like they can't stand to see people happy. They need to remind them that, oh, there's just another way of getting on your parade. We rain on parades. We don't, but it's a better image. Luckily, my love for my daughter and late husband was stronger than my anger, and we sidestepped and continued on as planned. I have since been told many people didn't even realize that there was a problem. After the ceremony, sister-in-law came up to talk to me. I discreetly but firmly told her she was way out of line and I was disgusted in her stunt. What is the point of that? Like, very clearly only you and your daughter could have seen that, and maybe people who were around you, but like, why do that? I spent the rest of the evening actively avoiding her and enjoying the moment despite this. She approached me again at the end of the night, and I again told her in no uncertain terms what I thought of her pick-me actions. With a few champagnes under my belt, I was definitely less measured than my earlier interaction. Ooh, champagne do be the truth serum. I ended it by saying I had clearly and repeatedly explained my expectations, and she had deliberately ignored those for her own wants. So here's where I may be the a-hole.
Just a small one.
I was going to message her and explain how much her actions upset the bride and me and how little respect she showed us. I was also going to tell her how much my late husband would have hated what she did and how much she upset his baby on her wedding day. But then I thought, why should I waste any more oxygen on this person? She didn't listen to what I said the first, second, third, 15th time I explained it to her, so why should I now need to explain it again retrospectively? My gut feeling is to now just ghost her, cut off all financial and emotional support. I'm torn. Do I try and discuss this with her, or do I I cut and run.
Bye, Felicia.
I mean, it is interesting, not only emotionally, but financially support her, and she still decided to cross a boundary on a day where you really can't take it back. You deliberately went against the wishes of someone who asked you to just chill out. I would like to say that I would be the bigger person in this scenario, but I probably wouldn't. Never again is a long time. I realize stonewalling, it is a very hurtful way to go about things. Generally, I try to communicate in most situations how I feel, but if you've already communicated your expectations and she deliberately ignored those expectations and went against what you said, I would say a dash of silent treatment is in fact in order. And most certainly, cutting off financial support is also in order.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Edit. For all those asking, I definitely do not fully financially support my sister-in-law. Okay. Important context. She can and always has been able to afford the basics. We just always picked up some of the extras, and I continued to do it after my husband died. You did that out of the goodness of your heart. You are under no obligation to keep financially supporting her. Examples include me covering her accommodation costs for the past weekend or us buying her daughter's laptops for school. I've read every comment and decided to just leave it as it ended on Saturday. I will not contact her. Not the a-hole. If you confront her, it will only give her more drama ammunition. Personally, I would just distance myself further and further away from her. Yeah, I think a good little dose, a good little dash of silent treatment. I think you both need some space right now, honestly. And maybe in the future, if she tries to apologize, you can discuss it then, but you're very clearly too upset by what happened. I'm so glad she didn't make any further scenes than that. Could have been worse, but I think not speaking to each other would probably be good for both of you. Cut and run. Snip, snip, snip. Not the a-hole. Hey, I get it. Some people are really hard to understand grief and have difficulty dealing with emotions, but that doesn't grant them eternal hold over our own emotions. Yes, so that's another factor in here. Obviously, this day was probably pretty hard for the sister-in-law. I can understand that. I do understand, and sometimes grief makes people do weird things. However, as we always say on this channel, have some decorum. For the love of God, keep it together. If the people whose own father and husband could keep it together to ensure that this day was special, everybody else can just cool it. She was definitely trying to hijack the moment. She was trying to steal the thunder from you and your daughter, so go low contact, cut the money, and give yourself some time from all the nonsense. You slept with that man for years. You shared a life, dreams, and goals. You know him better than she does, so don't let her take away your right to grieve as you need to and take away your chance of a new life. Oh, interesting context here from OP. Thank you, and yes, I definitely did know him better. He left home at 18. She knew him mostly as a child. I knew the adult he had become. Grief is not a competition, but interesting that she didn't know him as well and didn't have as good of a relationship with him, and she still tried to somewhat put a damper on the day. Just cut her off. It wasn't an accident. She could have shared that montage before or after the ceremony, not in the middle. Yeah, I totally agreed. Maybe she could have come to you and been like, hey, you know, I'd love to do some sort of tribute to him. I don't want to take away from your day, but, you know, I'd love to say some words or something like that. Maybe you would have been more open to the idea, but imagine you're walking down the aisle. You're trying to keep it together. Your mom's next to you and your father's notably absent, and the only thing that's keeping you going is just straight line. And that straight line is then obstructed by a bunch of photos of the person that you lost. Time and a place, babes.
Act more like an adult.
I have read every comment and decided to just leave it as it ended on Saturday. I will not contact her nor reply to her messages. We live quite a distance, 8 hours plus drive from each other, and my in-laws have long passed, so I have very few occasions where I would need to interact with her again. I've messaged my nieces and told them I love them and will always be there for them, but do not hold them at all responsible for what happened. Both told me they tried to talk her out of it, but she's so stubborn they had no chance. Thank you for all your support and confirmation that I'm not overreacting with this. Sometimes we all need the opinion of friendly strangers to let us know if we're the ones who are crazy. Yes, sometimes I have crazy emotions, and it's good to have people around you to say, you're being nuts. Or not being nuts. I am pleased to report that in this situation, it's obviously not me that's the problem. All right, we have an update. A text message exchange. So it was eating me up, and I sent her a message. Oh, goody. And no, neither of my nieces have responded to my messages from earlier in the week. I've said my bit, and now I feel I can move forward and find peace with the situation. I've given myself some time to think about what I wanted to say to you and to calm down after your stunt on Saturday, but I am still furious. After the many months of me wringing ringing you and asking, begging multiple times for you to not make a scene, you still went ahead and did exactly as you wanted without any consideration for my daughter's or my requests. To quote, she packed up her whole frickin' shrine to bring to my wedding. What you did was completely selfish and self-absorbed. You thought only about your own wants and didn't consider us at all, as if the day wasn't hard enough for us already. You don't and will never know the amount of tears shed that day by my daughter and I because he couldn't be with us. I knew that walking my baby down the aisle was going to be one of the hardest things I ever did because it should never have been me doing that. As we turned into the garden, squeezed my hand and said, we won't cry, Daddy would want us to be happy, and yet halfway down the hardest walk of my life, you thought it fit to shove your framed picture montage into the path blocking our way. As if we weren't already aware my husband and daughter's father wasn't there. Your actions were vile and all about drawing attention to yourself. We honored him in many small and big ways on that day, and you had absolutely no right to impose your actions onto us. You were a guest and should have acted like one. My late husband would have been disgusted with your behavior, and we are too. You crossed a line with me from which there is no return. You made my baby's day even harder and were only the blemish on what was otherwise a beautiful day. My daughter is an adult and can make her own decisions, but I feel you have a lot of making up to do if you want to maintain a relationship with her. I hate that you married her special day with your own selfishness. I hate that you made her day and mine so much harder. I especially hate that you thought it appropriate to bring a funeral booklet to a wedding. Whew. This is spicy. After all, my daughter has endured. She deserved a perfect day, as much as it could be without him there. And you solely, with your own selfish behavior, ruined that. I hope you feel some sort of genuine remorse, but I doubt you do. You are so wrapped up in yourself, you can't stop to consider the needs of others. You need help. Please continue to see medical health professionals to deal with your issues so you don't ruin any more relationships. Listen, you're not wrong in how you feel, and if you needed to express that to feel better, it is what it is, bestie. In her eyes, you might have been the a-hole. In her eyes, she might have been trying to do something she felt was the right thing. But that's the thing, is like she could justify it in a million ways. It doesn't make it right. Having read your original post, I think you were most polite and succinct in this response. Thank you. I just couldn't let it go, and I needed to say something for my own ability to move forward. I definitely moderated what I really wanted to say, though. I'm Australian. The C word is in high rotation around here and very fitting. I would let the C word drop again. Remember that video like a little while ago where a couple of C-bombs were left in? I wasn't mad about it. Honestly, there's something very comforting about being able to use that word. I miss being able to swear on YouTube. So are you the a-hole? You might be an a-hole in someone else's story, but as long as you're okay with that, you're not the a-hole in mine. Am I the a-hole for refusing to share a wedding day with my sister? I already kind of know how I feel about this, but she's a lazy turkey today, guys. I, 27 female, have wanted to be married to my fiance, 28 male, for years, and we finally started planning our big day. However, my sister, 25 female, suddenly announced plans for her own wedding on the very same day. I thought you were gonna say joint wedding. Like, this is like, okay, so she rented another venue and made people choose between them? Oh, that's cold. That's, dare I say,
I caught it!
I was shocked and hurt, especially since she never showed any interest in marrying her partner before. I told her it's wrong for her to try and share the spotlight, but she insists it's a coincidence and she didn't know. My fiance and I have been together for 5 years, and it was always clear that a big wedding was my dream. I planned every detail from the venue to the dress, making sure it's perfect. My sister's sudden plan made me feel like she's trying to overshadow me on my special day. Everyone keeps suggesting we merge the weddings. No! Excuse me! Absolutely not! Get the fuck out of here. Everyone being who?
I'm just doing it together!
No! But I can't stand the idea of sharing the spotlight. Listen, it's totally fine to want it to be your day. I know everybody thinks that I'm like, make my day. Literally, it is your day. You don't have to share the attention with anyone. We gotta be reasonable about the attention, okay? Sometimes there are circumstances in which the attention won't be on us, and that's okay. But this, I feel like, is a little unnecessary. I tried to talk it out with her, but she dismissed my feelings and says I'm being selfish. So wait, you sent her like a wedding invitation with like the date and stuff on it, and she just going with,
Oh, I didn't know.
I just want one day. That's all about me and my partner. My sister has always been the golden child. Everything has always come easily to her. She has no idea how much planning goes into a wedding, and suddenly she's claiming to have everything arranged for the same day. I feel like she's trying to take away my moment, that one day I've been dreaming about for so long. Am I the a-hole for wanting this to be my own special day? Shouldn't a sister respect my feelings and find her own date for her wedding? She should. Especially if you picked it first. Like, I don't think that she would have gone into all that planning. Like, it does take literal months and months and months, sometimes years to plan a wedding. I highly doubt that she just like announced the date on the whim and now suddenly has everything planned. She's using that as an excuse to not change it so that you change your wedding day. But you know what you should do? You should go ahead with your day and make people choose. And everybody who doesn't come, you know where they stand. Update 1. Yes, I've made all the arrangements for my wedding day, including booking vendors and caterers and my actual venue. I even talked to her husband, who's completely in the dark about my sister's plans. She's doing it to steal your thunder for sure. I put down significant non-refundable deposits. Yes, that is something that you do. Can't change that. Once you give the deposit, even if somebody dies, you know, like sometimes people will take pity on you, but most won't because there's people who lie. Changing the date now would cost me a fortune. Despite this, my sister insists we share the wedding day, dismissing all effort and money I've invested in making it my dream wedding. She keeps saying we can merge the weddings and have one big celebration. No, I'm good. No, 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 no. Make people choose. You should do a nice little public post where you explain the situation and say, I'm not changing it. If you choose to go to this other wedding, that is up to you. I trust that the RSVPs that you've already sent over are still good. No hard feelings, but hard feelings if you if you choose to go to her wedding instead. Realistically, it would just be your family who choose the other wedding. If they can't see that this is wrong, not a loss, in my opinion. I refuse to compromise my vision for her sudden urge to get married. The thought of sharing my special day with her, having to split attention and resources, feels like a nightmare. She will make it a nightmare. She's already made it a nightmare. It hasn't even happened yet. She claims it's a coincidence that she picked the same date, but I can't help but notice how convenient it is for her to piggyback off all my planning. Her nonchalance over my hard work and investments is infuriating. Why does she need to do this on my day? My parents keep trying to reason with me, saying it would be practical and efficient to have the siblings' wedding on the same day. For who? For you? No. Do you want to know how long it took to actually find a wedding date? We literally had to consider so many things. It's like, you know, we're getting married in a month where there's a ton of birthdays, okay? My birthday, my dad's birthday. We're getting married where there's in-laws who also share a wedding date in the same month. There's multiple things to consider. There's events that we like going to that will now have to be shared with my anniversary. You have to consider, do I want this anniversary date for the rest of my life? We went back and forth for maybe 3 weeks on the wedding date, considering every possible option, considering weather, considering not wanting to take things away from people's birthdays, tons of things. It took us a really long time to find a date. The fact that your sister didn't even consider looking into any of this, didn't think like, oh, my sister's getting married, like, let me just make sure that it's not on the same day. Buddy, that's so inconsiderate. And her fault, by the way. My parents keep pointing out the money saved by combining events. Not the headaches, though. They're missing the point. I've been dreaming about this day since I was a little girl. I don't want to share it with anyone, especially not my sister, who's always overshadowed me. I want to be the center of attention for once. My parents don't seem to understand the importance of this to me. My partner tries to be supportive but struggles to understand the depth of my feelings. Thinks I'm being overly dramatic and should just be happy for my sister. I'm sure you would be happy for your sister if it didn't pan out like this. If she picked a day that was even, you know, the next weekend, the next month or something, but she chose to pick a day that's supposed to be yours. It's spiteful what she did. He says it's just a day, but to me, it's a lifelong dream. It's not just a day. It's important. I don't like that he's not backing you up on this. I'm not gonna lie. Sounds like a pushover. Despite my explanation, he seems more worried about not rocking the family boat. Rock it, baby girl. We will rock it. He wants to keep everyone happy, but I don't think he understands how hurt and overlooked I feel. You are absolutely valid in your feelings. Ooh, we have an update. Wow, things have escalated. After the whole wedding day debacle, my family seems to be taking sides. Several relatives have now chosen to drop out of my wedding and attend my sister's instead. Good! Sayonara! Even my maid of honor, the person who's been by my side through all my wedding planning, has decided to be a bridesmaid at my sister's wedding. Bye! See ya. Anyone who does that, that's nuts. If you were planning your wedding first and then they swap? Absolutely not. This feels like a slap in the face. It's not just a date conflict anymore. It feels like an attack on everything I had planned and hoped for. Now my wedding feels like it's falling apart. Elope, babes. Time to make some new friends. I know about 2.1 million people who'd love to come to your wedding. All the planning, the careful choices, the dreams for the perfect day, they're crumbling. My family support has vanished and my closest friend, my maid of honor, has turned on me. My fiance keeps trying to soothe me, saying it's not the end of the world, but he doesn't get it. He doesn't see how betrayed I feel. How every happy memory I plan to make my wedding day is being overshadowed by hurt and disappointment. Okay, so game plan here. I think you wait to see just exactly who drops out. You already spent the money too. I'm trying to figure out, like, do you elope? Do you take that money that you would have spent on a really insane wedding? You might have to bite the bullet. Honestly, it's terrible. I would hate losing that money too. I don't know. Like, at this point, it's almost like I would feel so hurt. I would just want to run away and have the best elopement and honeymoon ever. And my sister, she keeps talking about how perfect her happy accident of a wedding is going to be. She acts like she's the star of a fairy tale and I'm just in the way. She doesn't seem to care that my family's abandoning me and my wedding is crumbling. She enjoys the attention, relishing the spotlight, and it's driving me insane. And the worst part is people are rallying around her, congratulating her, telling her how wonderful everything is. Meanwhile, my feelings and dreams are dismissed. Another update. Things have gone from bad to worse. Not only has my family sided with my sister, but now some extended family members have started commenting on social media, calling me selfish and dramatic for not letting my sister have the wedding on the same date. What the f? I'm sorry, if you picked that wedding date first, that's your wedding date. Finders keepers. I can't believe this is happening. My special day is being ruined, and now people are turning on me for standing up for what I want. It's infuriating. My partner, my fiance, has been a constant source of frustration throughout this ordeal. Ooh, I don't like that. He claims he wants to support me, but every time I express my disappointment or anger, he calls me overdramatic. He tells me to get over it and move on, like I'm just being silly for caring so much. Your fiance sounds like a pushover to me. Weak. When I tell you we are going to war, we are going to war. He keeps saying it's not that big of a deal because we have our whole lives together afterwards. But it's not just about the date. It's about feeling like an afterthought and my own sister is stealing my moment. This is very clearly about trauma from childhood. To somebody else, you might be like, oh, well, why don't we just share the day? It's fine. It's not about, well, it is about that, but it's mostly about how you have felt your whole life with regards to your sister. So sorry this is happening, bestie. You deserve your own day. You do. I don't know. This is tough. As for my sister's husband-to-be, he seems completely clueless about the drama unfolding around him. He's more focused on his own interests and doesn't seem to see the impact his fiance's actions are having. He's blissfully unaware, going about his day, while our family is at each other's throats because of his bride-to-be's decision. It's almost as if he's living in a bubble, ignorant of the storm he has unknowingly contributed to. So are you the a-hole for refusing to share a wedding day with my sister? You're absolutely not the a-hole. Sorry, not sorry. To people who are just like, you did a wedding, blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's an important day of your life. Set passwords with every vendor and not the a-hole. I'm glad I'm not alone on this. I understand she's not the a-hole. I just don't really know what to do to advise her in this situation. This, and can you talk to her partner? They may not know your sister is discussing all these plans. Absolutely not the a-hole. Okay, so interesting take in the comments. It's almost as if she wants to merge the wedding so the sister gets her wedding for free or to save costs. It's interesting that your parents are like, oh, it'll be so much cheaper. Maybe that's what she said to your parents as a way to get them on her side, because it's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna save money. What if you don't want to save money? If that's something you want to spend your money on, then go for it. You're 27 and about to marry the love of your life. Stop stressing over the wrong things. Forget about your sister and those who won't come to your wedding. Concentrate on planning your big day and be happy. Redirect your energy toward those who are there to support you and your soon-to-be husband. In a time like this, you quickly shift to like, who isn't supporting me? You could also focus on the people who are there to support you. After the wedding, cut off contact with your parents and family members who backed your sister's nonsense. Like, I'm sorry, you had that wedding day first. Everyone who initially agreed to be at your wedding, like the fact that they're even forced in a situation where it's like, I like her more. Like, shut the f. You agreed to OP's wedding first. You can't just now switch. I highly doubt that this sister in this scenario has like put down deposits on everything. I do agree with everyone that maybe she's trying to use this as a way to piggyback on someone else's wedding to not have to pay for much else. So maybe call her on her bluff if that's the case. Don't share the wedding, don't share the vendors, don't share the money. Let's see if she can go ahead with this wedding on her own. I'd never speak to my sister or any family member that supports her again. She would be dead to me. Am I the a-hole for for leaving my sister's wedding early because she kept my husband out of the pictures. My 31 male sister, Anne, 34 female, got married on Saturday. My husband of 7 years, Mark, 32 male, was there with me, and up until one point, it was an amazing evening. After the ceremony, Anne wanted a picture with all of our siblings. There's 5 of us and their respective partners, so we started lining up. When Anne saw that my husband was standing next to me, she shook her head and said something about him ruining the aesthetic. I'm sorry, is your relationship not aesthetically pleasing to your sister? Apparently, her plan was to put one man and one woman next to each other alternately. Okay. Are you serious? My younger sister, 18 female, who doesn't have a partner and was standing on the very side, offered to stand between the two of us so we could be close and Anne's wish could still be respected. Okay, yeah, that's a decent solution. I fail to understand why, if people are going to be standing with their partners, what does it matter if they're aesthetically pleasing or not?
She's horrible.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. It just kind of sounds like she doesn't like the fact that you're gay. Sorry. Is that like, am I reaching here? Because what is this really about? I thought that that was a great solution, but Anne disagreed and told Mark to get out of the picture. He's quite introverted and tries to avoid confrontation under all circumstances, so he simply complied and told me not to get angry. But it was obvious that he was hurt and disappointed by being left out.
Yeah, no Sherlock.
I fail to see why she wouldn't want her brother-in-law in the photos with her. Obviously, it didn't stop me from getting angry, and I walked away with him. I can understand that Anne wants her wedding pictures to look exactly like how she imagined them. Did she also imagine that her brother would be straight? Burn! But I think that the idea my younger sister proposed was very reasonable. I congratulated Anne and her husband one last time, but then I said my goodbyes. When I was asked why we were leaving early, especially before taking pictures, I said I didn't feel like our presence was wanted. Literally. We left before dinner was served, and I took Mark out to his favorite restaurant to cheer him up a little. Anne has texted me since saying I was being over dramatic and making a fuss over nothing. Okay, but she's the one that didn't want your husband in the picture. Like, you offered a solution. You said, okay, so then we can just put a girl in between us. But she's the one that didn't want your husband in the picture. Why is that?
Seems kind of gay.
Our parents have tried to remain neutral, but except for my younger sister, the rest of my family supports Anne and think that leaving early was going too far and that I should have sucked it up instead of ruining her big day. Also, to edit for confusion, my husband is able-bodied and white, so is most of my family, but we are indeed a gay couple. I don't think you were the a-hole, my dear. I think that not wanting someone to be in pictures deliberately is really rude. I don't care if it's your wedding or not. What does it matter if they're in the pictures? Unless you have an ulterior motive for not wanting them to be in the pictures, which is also a reason to leave.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Not the a-hole. Has your sister always been shamelessly homophobic? See? Or has the wedding brought out a new side of her?
That's new.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not crazy, because that is the first, I didn't want to like jump the gun or anything, because that is what I got from this. I admit, I didn't even realize that was a possibility. I just saw 2 married people at a wedding. So that to me would probably feel like I was being discriminated against. I've never been discriminated against in that way, but I think that they were there and they probably felt some type of way about being excluded. 100% homophobia, even if the sister doesn't even realize it. If you're fully embracing a family member as LGBTQ+, aesthetic of siblings with their partners having one couple being 2 gay men would mean nothing. This sounds homophobic. Like, this sounds like she does not like gay people. The aesthetic for a siblings and partner photo is that your siblings and their partners are in the photo. If anything, you could make an argument to do a photo with and without the younger single sister. That's a good point. Could have been like, okay, we'll get one where the aesthetic is what I want, and then we'll get one with all the siblings together with their partners. The bride fully didn't want him to be in the photo. It wasn't about that. It was about him not wanting him to be in the photo. Your parents are not being neutral either. That is a good point. They are showing they are uncomfortable with the gay couple by siding on the sister's side of the argument about BS aesthetic and letting it look how the sister imagined it, aka hetero couples only. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And you gotta talk to your sister about her issues.
Which one?
Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend's wedding when she told me I needed to cover up my psoriasis?
God, these brides really do be out here thinking that their wedding is like some sort of like magazine shoot or something. You're getting married. This isn't Vogue. And by the way, Vogue would for sure put someone with psoriasis on the cover. Aren't we keeping up with beauty standards now? Everybody is different. Let's embrace it. You made me sit. I'm sure you were sitting already, but you make you sit down again. I, 24 female, have psoriasis. It is all over my body and presents like vitiligo in a way, just so you can get an image in your head. I have medicated cream that helps with the itchiness, and it also helps with the dryness. The psoriasis is all over my body with it stopping right on my neck, and I do have a few spots on the side of my face near my ears. I've always been pretty embarrassed as I cannot cake on enough makeup to truly cover up my psoriasis. It's textured and thick, and on top of that, no matter what I do or however I attempt said makeup, it always looks horrible. There is something about applying makeup to texture that just makes it look 10 times worse. And the fact that you're covering it up is just like you're adding product to it, and that just makes it stick out more. It just looks like you're trying to cover something up, you know? My doctor also recommended to not smother the areas with makeup as it tends to make it worse and itchier. That is a good point. And it doesn't surprise me because like your skin is kind of peeling off and stuff, and that's kind of creating like an open wound, so to speak, and you don't want to be covering that up and putting makeup on it. My friend's wedding was on Saturday, and of course I was invited. I bought a dress that would cover my body fairly well as I didn't want to draw attention to myself. The entire week leading up to the wedding, I was continuously testing concealers on the remaining spots that were exposed, which made me itchy. And I basically scratched my skin raw. Oh, girl, that's brutal. With psoriasis, those areas can sometimes bleed if I scratch too much, which is what happened. My boyfriend, who was attending the wedding, told me I shouldn't worry about it and that it would be better if I just stopped trying to cover them as it was just making it worse. You're here for the boyfriend. I reluctantly agreed and we attended the wedding ceremony. It was great. I was extremely happy for my friend and her now husband. But as we were leaving to go to cocktail hour, she pulled me aside and asked if I was going home to cover up my psoriasis. Never did I think that someone who had just gotten married would be so fixated on someone else's skin condition and felt it necessary to tell that someone to go cover it up.
Girl, don't you got bigger things to worry about?
I was a little taken aback and explained that I couldn't, as the entire week I'd been testing concealers and made it 20 times worse. She told me she didn't care.
Friends like these, huh?
Absolutely not. No way. This was her wedding and she didn't want her guests asking me questions or feeling queasy during dinner. Okay. No one feels queasy except for you, darling. It's not that serious. God, what a bitch. I'm sorry. That is so rude. My boyfriend stepped in and told her if that was the case, we would be leaving and not attending the rest of the wedding. She was pissed off and extremely angry at that choice, and ever since, she's been ranting about it to our friends. She was angry that your boyfriend, stand-up guy, stuck up for you and you guys threatened to leave the wedding because she insulted you and the way that you look.
That is correct.
Not the a-hole, and honestly, that would be the end of the friendship for me. She really showed you her true colors, didn't she? OP response, that's why I put friends in quotes, because I don't think I'll ever speak to her again. I don't think you should, babes. I don't think anybody would really care all that much. Nobody's gonna get queasy, except for maybe her. And frankly, if your friend gets queasy at the sight of you, yeah, you shouldn't be friends with that person. For the record, I don't think that she gets queasy at the sight of you. I think that she was just being incredibly rude. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And I really like your boyfriend, by the way. At least you have him through all of this. Stand-up guy. All right, we got one more, and I saved the doozy for last. They are all doozies, though, aren't they?
Damn straight.
Am I the a-hole for wearing my engagement ring when I knew my stepsister was getting engaged? I will be the judge of that, but doesn't sound like it. I, 28 female, got engaged at the beginning of December. For Christmas, I was staying with my mom and stepdad, and they were hosting my stepdad's whole family. Step-siblings, mothers, brothers, cousins, families, for a New Year's party. Prior to this, my stepsister, 29 female, Rachel's now fiance Matt, informed my parents that he was going to propose and asked if it would be okay to do it at the party, and my parents agreed.
First mistake.
For the party, everyone was dressing up, and obviously, to me, I was wearing my engagement ring. ring.
As one does.
Everybody already knew I was engaged, but it was the first time they'd seen the ring in person. So at the start of the party, everyone was interested in seeing it. I did notice that Matt was being a bit cold with me, but I thought it was nerves. Oh, was like Matt a little uncomfortable with the ring size? You made him look like a chump? What happened? What's happening here? Or is this simply just a case of your engagement overshadowed his engagement? Let's find out. The proposal happened and it was beautiful. Everybody congratulated Rachel, but it was kind of a 50-50 on people wanting to look at and compliment her ring and mine. Awkward. Okay. A lot of comparisons were made, nothing unkind, and everyone was really happy for Rachel, as was I. The day after, Rachel and Matt blew up at me about wearing my ring to the party. This is what happens when you get engaged. You wear rings.
It's quite cool.
Honestly, if they were that worried about the comparison and you know, kind of like taking the limelight, maybe they should have picked a later date to do the engagement. Rachel said I was deliberately trying to draw attention to myself on her special night.
What are you talking about?
Okay, but you also get to be congratulated on your engagement, not just her. And that since I knew beforehand she was getting engaged, so I shouldn't have worn my ring. No, that doesn't work like that. When you get engaged, you wear your ring everywhere. Since I don't always wear it anyway. Well, okay, that's fair, but like I would imagine you would probably wear it to like a New Year's Eve party where people are dressed up and looking nice. I don't really agree with this since I've been engaged for weeks and everybody already knew about it. It's not like I stole her thunder, nor did I intend to by wearing my ring. I wore it because I'm engaged, so that's what you do. Matt then accused— I knew it. Listen to this. Matt then accused me of embarrassing her by wearing my colossally large ring, when I knew Rachel's wouldn't be anywhere near as big, and intentionally showing him up in front of the family. I knew that's what this really was about. He even went on about the other jewelry I wore. Oh dear Lord. I can understand wanting to get your partner everything, right? And not being able to do that, not being able to provide, that would probably bother you quite a bit. Let's also not forget the fact that not everybody can afford a colossally large ring. Not everybody wants a colossally large ring. At the end of the day, an engagement ring symbolizes a promise, and it really shouldn't matter how big it is. It really shouldn't. Is that what you're reducing this to? My stepdad called them both stupid for their outburst. My stepbrother said there's no way I could have known that's how they'd feel. It's not like they asked me not to wear it. That's a good point. But also, even if they did ask you not to wear it, you better wear it. My mom says while she knows I didn't do it deliberately, she can see where Rachel is coming from since everyone preferred my ring to hers. Everybody else there shouldn't have compared the two. I feel like the a-holes here are the ones that were at the party, the family and friends, that were kind of making, you know, Rachel and Matt feel weird about the fact that they had a smaller ring. You should never be like, oh, mine's bigger, hee hee.
Men do it all the time.
There should have never been like comparisons. She also said that given my ring is quite unique, I should have considered it would draw attention. I'm sorry, honey. That's the point of engagement rings. Not the a-hole. You are engaged. It is normal for you to wear your ring, especially at family occasions. Yes, especially when you're dressing up and wearing nice jewelry and nice clothes and stuff, like New Year's Eve. What's next? Can you not bring your husband to their wedding because any reminder that anyone else has gotten married would be upstaging their day? This just sounds like they are like a little bit insecure and jealous. Getting married is not about the ring size. It's not about, you know, all these superficial things. It's supposed to be about two people getting engaged because they love each other and want to spend the rest of their lives. Why are we like placing so much importance on a ring size? Everybody at this party remove your rings so only Rachel's ring shines. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal.
God, that is the most Delulu thing. Is that honestly what she expects? Imagine that was like a thing. Oh, I got engaged, so I need you to take off your engagement ring so that it doesn't upstage mine. I've said this once before and I will say it again. Normalize being happy for other people. Stop comparing what you have to what someone else has, okay? It doesn't help anybody. Comparison is the enemy of happiness. And that's on period. Subscribe!